Welcome to this edition of What the Fuck Happenings over here in Mendham and such. So anyway, back on YouTube. Should be anyway. The whatever penalty is over. I really haven't had any notices of videos being downgraded and put in mature audiences only and all that crap. So I guess the whatever trolls, I've been less aggressive. But anyway, so whatever the whole censorship issue, the whole subject of why we settle for a world where there are no principles or rules that anybody really cares about. We let the corporations decide what our rights are, and the corporations are basically just gambling instruments. People just want to make a big pile of money for doing nothing. They want to bet on the race and get lucky, and they think that's civilization, is getting lucky. Or being a tiny bit more clever than the other guy, and therefore I should be a billionaire or a millionaire. They want that kind of world. They don't want some world where there's instruments that are dependable and reliable and built to serve humanity. All of us, just kind of honest things. Where people do. They make an honest contribution. They get rewarded for making positive contributions, and the rewards aren't just silly, where we say, let's make it like the Olympics, or let's make it like a lottery, one winner and a million losers. Like that's a great way to incentivize behavior, when of course that's a lousy way to create incentives. Because frankly, yes, you create more losers than winners, and it's clear that playing by the rules doesn't work. You're not going to win that way. Because it's all about winning, and it's not about just playing a good game. Because there's no interest in it, no reward for it, no benefit to it. You'll just be another loser. It seems like there's enough people there. This whole socialism thing is, people are talking, like they're socialists, and they're not socialists in any kind of rational framework. They're socialists in the sense they want to give rewards for failure instead of rewards for being actually productive and beneficial, making a positive contribution to the welfare of the feeling creatures on Earth. And we settle for this, and there's, like I said, all these people who yammer like they care, and their solutions are useless. They won't fix the problem because they want to keep the parts that are their cheats, the cheats that are beneficial to them. So, and especially in the politics, is just so bad now that we need to go to an a la carte system, a system where you get to just pick the policies you're for, and you don't have to pick these idiots anymore. So we do have to have a more direct democracy, but you have to pay for that, and people don't want to pay any price for anything. So to have some sort of integrity, a system that has some sort of functionality, you have to give up some of your right to anonymity, and to have 75 identities, and to be a cheater essentially. And people don't want to tighten up the rules because there's cheats that they're taking advantage of. And so it's just all talk. No one cares about anything as a principle. Well, I say nobody. A tiny percentage of people might realize that these fake solutions are just that, fake solutions. Like the right to die stuff, they come up with some bullshit where, if you jump through 77 hoops, you'll have the right to die, and it just doesn't mean anything. 6 people a year can take advantage of it. It's a completely non-existent solution to the problem, and But they say they've passed the law. We've made it this. Da, 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 da. No, they haven't done anything productive. You know, legalize marijuana so you can tax it, and you know, silly things like that. I mean, there's just always a crooked incentive. You know, nothing's ever done straight up or right. You know, the last whatever 15 years they've been yammering about the horror of the nicotine addicts, and there hasn't been a peep about the you know, the damage done to society by drugs like alcohol, and you know, how much how much productivity is squandered by people allowing their recreations to disable them as functional people. So anyway, it's just I mean, I've been yammering about this crap of doing things the right way and not the wrong way for, you know, 40 years, and yeah, it's a pretty dismal prospect of having rational conversation about a kind of socialism that isn't about rewarding failure, a kind of socialism that is about we the people controlling our fate, not being controlled by a bunch of billionaires, you know, pulling all the strings with their money, with the propaganda their money can buy. Just, you know, we should be the owners. I mean, whoa, wow, what a crazy idea. We the people should own, you know, we should be running the show. You know, not tiny segments of special interest, you know, that again just wants to capitalize on the opportunity to exploit, to lie, to cheat, to steal, to create the you know, to do the bare minimums you can get, the barely legal, get away with whatever you can get away with, cut as many corners as you can, deflate as many footballs as possible. You know, whatever kind of advantage you can take it. Totally unproductive. No long-term interest is served. Just a little bit of short-term gain, long-term pain, because we can't come up with any kind of real systems and real theater of even our arguments are all in this stupid theater of these special interest groups who are just exchanging propaganda. You know, no honesty in anything, no honest arguments made, and every subject is veiled with some other agenda. Let's tie this agenda to this secret agenda. You know, just horrible. It's just, yeah, just horrible. I mean, it's bad enough being on a sinking ship, you know, but you know, they're still selling tickets. I mean, it's tilted. Half of it's in the water, and the assholes on the boat are selling a ticket to the next voyage. You know, that's how bad it is. It's how crass and ugly human beings are. You know, they're having lotteries to get on the lifeboats, and you know, rigged lotteries. It just sucks. So anyway, if you're wondering where I've been, then, you know, sorry. I mean, I did make it kind of clear. So anyway, on the website over there, this camera isn't reversed, is where the videos can be found, donotgod.com, for the last, whatever, 15 weeks or whatever it's been. And yeah, nothing spectacular, I have to admit. Just laments mostly. Conversations about how to have a conversation. Trying to figure out why it is possible for people to have such irrationally different perspectives. I mean, like, neither one is in the bubble of reasonable. And somehow it's acceptable that we can both grow up on this planet and see things so frickin' upside down, inverted, and reversed. just shouldn't be possible theoretically. And so so I've advocated in the past that there should be some sort of mechanism that, you know, where real debates can take place and where there can be real advocacy. We need to have some sort of real mechanism of being a one person, you know, not having all these cheaters. You can't really create any kind of mechanism where the cheaters don't get to win, you know, because we don't have any reliable way to ensure that there's one person living at one address. And just because you own 10 homes, you don't get to have 10 votes, you know, all that kind of crap. And the whole reason why we have this illegal immigrant problem is because we don't want to fix it, because we don't want to have IDs that matter. We don't want to be accountable for our behavior. You know, it's just all these, you know, people want it both ways. You know, they want security, and yet they don't want to pay for it, in the sense, pay for it in the way that you have to pay for it, which is we have to have some way of identifying cheaters and not cheaters. You know, you have to have some sort of mechanism to have any kind of integrity to a system. But yeah, we should have that. We should be able to sign up online for saying, this is who I am. I'll provide you information proving who I am, and I get one vote. And we can have polls that actually mean something about, you know, what policy you think is rational. And the Congress should be informed when they pass bills about what people think of the crap they've thrown in there. The stuff that has only 10% of the people would vote for it if they allowed the people to vote for it. And it should be in their face that that's what they're doing. They're putting crap in that the democracy doesn't want in. Neither side wants it. The Republicans don't want it. The Democrats don't want it. The people, anyway, in those parties don't want it. But somehow the politicians want it. Why do they want it? Because they're serving a special interest that paid them. A little 10% minority is saying to them, well, I'll vote for you if you give me my graft. You know, give me my pork. Give me my first cut. Give me my more pieces of the pie than I'm entitled to. And it's just extortion. And that's not how our politics should work. It shouldn't be about extortion. And, you know, that's the way you have to play the game. I mean, I've sort of, in some ways, I've advocated for playing the game the way the game is set up. I mean, that's another failure of, say, this channel and any people who want to do something to fix it. The system, all the people complaining about the system, is that, well, all we have to do is organize. And once we have 4 million people or so in our group, the group of fuck you or you lying scum, kill the lying scum, you know, fuck making America great, let's just kill the lying scum. Okay, that's a much better slogan. Kill the lying scum, the cheaters, the overt aggressive thieves. Let's kill them, you know, metaphorically. You know, just this making America great is just a metaphor, right? We're not going to make anything great. You know. So yeah, if we could just organize, got a few people, then we can extort the system. We can tell the Democrats and the Republicans, do what we say or we won't vote for you. Our 4 million votes will go the other way in the next election. All 4 million of them, and that'll flip the election, because that's how the election turns, right? We know it's a kind of a 50-50 balance, and all you need is a few million votes, and you win. You've decided the fate. And so you just play an extortion game. You just put a gun to them and say, play my game or else. So you either extort them, either bribe them overtly with money, say, I'll give you a big, you know, I'll give your retarded son a job for whatever, $500,000 a year doing absolutely nothing, or you point a gun at them, you know, or you point a boot at their fucking nuts and extort them into playing ball. But that's not how it should work. That's not the system we should want. We should want a nice straight up gladiator kind of thing, you know. I mean, sword, man, shield, no bullshit, right out in the open, you know, no places to hide, you know, no get out of fighting free cards, no chicanery, you know, no legal contracts, no lawyers, no bullshit. we should want for that. We should be hungry for it, and too few of us are. Can't even have a conversation about a rational system of democracy because people think we have one, and it's totally irrational. It's all geography. Oh yes, represent my geography. Okay, I'm not an ideologue. I don't have philosophical positions. No, I'm some asshole living in a piece of geography, and that'll decide what I think will be decided by what the majority of my geography thinks. You know, that's not how you represent philosophies. It's not how you represent people. You don't represent them by saying you are where you live. You know, that's just garbage as a democracy. And nobody will talk about it. Everybody thinks it's a great... Oh yeah, great, yes. You vote based on where you live. Where you live decides what you want. Yeah. So you know, it's so whatever the most people are doing where you live, if they're all farmers, then you're a farmer, whether you like it or not. You know, so whatever their values are, they're your values. That's not democracy. That's not representing my beliefs. So, you know, so we should be done with this stupid geography-based system. There's no reason to have a geography-based representatives. We're not living 200 years ago where you couldn't even make a phone call. You had to spend 2 days to travel 40 miles. We don't live there anymore. We don't need to be geography bound. Our identity is not geography, especially now with the internet. The whole fucking world is there. We can almost live anywhere we want. I mean, if I wanted to live in France, I could just go to a bunch of French websites and just kind of be French if I wanted to be French. You know, you can do anything. You know, it's a prayerful, powerful medium. It's just squandered on bullshit. But yeah, no one will have the conversation. They can't grasp the concept that it's really not a brilliant idea to have a the same majority win every single election just because of the way you force it to be in these districts that are essentially going to be controlled by whatever the majority interest is in that district. It's just silly. It just eliminates it. You know, even the whole idea of having this stupid winner-take-all bullshit and then calling it a democracy or calling it representation. How's it representation to disenfranchise 50% of the people every election? Well, or 48%. 48% of the people have their vote ignored, essentially. You know, have it thrown in the garbage. And you like that system. That's representation. Throwing half the votes away. No, that's retarded. And that's why most people don't even vote. It's because they're not given a choice. And they have no power to fix anything or change anything with their vote. Because it's either asshole or jackass. Screw that. Alright, well, I've been over this subject before, and it's just, there's no traction. Yeah, it's not even that complex, you know, when you start talking about systems and how to fix them so they get rid of the spoiler thing by having instant runoff voting. But instant runoff voting doesn't mean anything if you're still voting in a geographic district that's dominated by, you know, the other guys, and you'll always lose, and you'll never have a congressman you voted for win ever in your life. How can you think you're in a winning rational system where you vote for 60 years and not a single person you voted for ever wins? You can't smell some kind of, well, there's something broken because I'm never represented. No. But, you know, somehow it's too complex a subject. People can't, you know, just, no, fixing anything. Keep everything dirty, stupid, retarded. Status quo wins. Incumbency wins. Yeah, just so depressing. So yeah, so it's so depressing. Too bad. So yeah, the shitheads, the idiocracy and the crookocracy is winning, and there's not much you can say except, gee, that's sort of a commentary about the human race. and how if there were aliens out there, they really should just kill us for that alone. Just how disgracefully we've insulted our intelligence. Can't come up with a single honest or decent system. Can't do anything graceful or beautiful. Everything has to be a slimy, conniving, fucking scheme to make a few easy bucks so we can fuck a few silicon-chicked breasts. I mean, the whole thing is so fucking crass and disgusting. Ugh. And people defend it. Oh, yes. It makes them more of these creatures, these fucking scums. Anyway. Alright, so that's my opening statement. I'll be back. So I'm trying a new thing. I'll see if I can make one video out of a few videos by just walking away and doing something else and then coming back and seeing how that works for a change. I wish to have more stuff to show, but it's just nothing. I haven't done enough work on things. I haven't got enough things finished, enough this, that, whatever. I guess I could go back to the cube art thing. At least it moves and does something. So I do plan on doing something more interesting. I mean, I have figured out how to use some of this technology. I mean, I can jump from one screen to the other screen. And it's kind of neat, and you know. So I do have power to do something with this performance art. But I have so many distractions. And so yeah, just I guess I'll just, you know, I'm moving is still up, it's happening. It's just, you know, nothing's gotten finalized, so it just means I have more time to move. So it's still like 2 months from now is probably when I have to. There will be the actual date where I actually change my location, which I just can't even imagine. You know, but whatever. I'm gonna have to. I'll be imagining it by living it, so that'll be a trip. But maybe I'll be dead before then, so who knows? It's just so hard to know. Everything's just so, you know, so subject to the whims of fortune instead of any kind of, you invest in a rational plan. You invest in trying to do the right thing and get the thing to do you right. You know, do onto the system as the system does onto you, kind of thing. You know, and we just can't make those kind of bargains. All we have is superstitions and, you know, wacky crap. Don't step on a crack, and you know, you won't break your mother's back. It's all the gimmicks we have, and they're just there's nonsense. There's just no. This is a horrible contract. You know, where deserve and earn will have so little to do with what you're going to get, and we can fix so much of that. I mean, nature just sucks because that's how nature works. It just doesn't give a shit. We can give a shit, and we can do something about it. But every plan they have to do something is a racket, or it's built out of fucktarded ignorance. You know, build a wall, give the poor people everything. You know, praise the illegals for raping and pillaging. I mean, it's just, there's nothing rational, and there's nothing. Everything stated as a plan is a plan that can't possibly succeed. It's premised on such profound stupidity and ignorance. Put solar panels on roofs. Subsidize that, because that's really efficient. No, it isn't. It's insanely inefficient. It's almost as bad as putting them in your closet. Almost. I mean, frankly, you already threw away 50% of the value, so you might as well throw away the other 50% and put them in your closet, right? If 50% of the value doesn't matter, then why don't you just throw the other 50% and then just put them in the closet instead of leaving them on the dirty, stinky roof to get shit on and stuff? Why don't you put your solar panels in the closet? You're only throwing away 50% of the value because you already threw away the other 50% by putting it on your fucking roof. I mean, even it's just so simple. The stupidity of this shit. Subsidize being stupid. Oh, great idea. Because why? Oh, because there's a bunch of businesses hiring a bunch of illegals who are nailing solar panels on roofs. I was stupid. So anyway, shouldn't you think about it? Because it just makes me angry. You won't like me when I'm angry. Anyway, so yeah, that's enough for now. So now I can hit the button. And I should be able to come back. Maybe. Alright, I'm back. Maybe. Better check. Yeah, it's first time doing this, so who knows if it's actually working. Looks like it is. So, okay. Don't know if I have much. Morning, mostly. I haven't been sleeping at night, so it's not really working for me currently. So, but whatever. You know, life is irritating, especially as you get older and all that crap. It's not any fun. Quite annoying. So where was I in subjects? Yeah, so back on YouTube. Whatever. Clearly it matters to people. I mean, people really don't migrate. Too many of them anyway. And it just has to do with the whole atmosphere for philosophical conversation is as if there's just so few people engaged in any of it. And it is kind of strange just how many people have dropped out of conversation. And part of it, I guess, is the politics is just so divisive now that you can't have any civil conversation that has any element of politics in it because it just gets too angry too quickly. And so it has to be real philosophy kind of stuff, the safer subjects about origins maybe, or some other crap like that. And you know, there's no the whole atheist Christian thing fell apart, and the whole atmosphere is so polluted now by this. Everybody has to love Muslims for some dopey reason, respect them for some other silly reason. You know, my only defense for Muslims was that we perpetrated a completely illegal war against them. You know, but they're still infinitely hateable. There's just nothing to like about Muslims, in my opinion. There's no bright side to it at all, and they wear it on their sleeve, which is annoying. I mean, for every one of their head jobs and bullshit, I should be able to, you know, wear a hat that, you know, doesn't say "Make America Great Again." It says, you know, "Fuck Muslims. Fuck you and your God." Yeah. Till dead. Get fucked by your God till you're dead. Which is going to happen. So it's going to be a prediction. You know. Yeah, there's times where I just want to tattoo it on my face or something. Just to be as obnoxious as these jackasses. So I see I'm getting political. And, you know. So even the conversation about religion isn't... You can't even have that conversation without it getting divisive and political. Because, yeah, I don't think we should suffer each other, frankly. We should be able to dislike each other for good reason. Being a Muslim ain't like being black or something. It says, you know, it's, you know, we can have innate... There's people who just annoy you. Just things about them annoy you. You know, I don't like beards on men. It's creepy. There's lots of things, but I know I can't pass a law that says, you know, let's persecute them. That would be retarded. So, but clearly, I don't have any obligation to convert myself into a beard lover. You know, I can say, yeah, I don't like it. I mean, I don't know if that's a great example. but you go with skinheads, you know, because there's a connotation and an association that's quite obvious. So it's, again, it's like wearing it on your sleeve. You know, it's like wearing a tattoo that says, you know, make America great again. You know, just some sort of annoying pile of shit. You know, it's American flag or something. Just some obnoxious statement that basically says something. It's, what are you for exploitation, theft, murder? You know, that's what that flag essentially represents in the last 100 years, is just a bunch of crimes against humanity. Nothing to be proud of. Certainly nothing to wear on your fucking sleeve, retard. You know, and you can go all the way back and find lots of atrocities, and with that stupid flag hanging over it. So it's something to be a lot more, I don't know what the word would be. Something for a much more respectful and dignified conversation about the frailties and failures of humanity, in a sense. I mean, you could make excuses about how these mistakes are inevitable mistakes of power and greed and human nature. You know, maybe have that kind of conversation, that it wasn't personal, you know, that our crimes weren't personal, that they were in some ways just ignorant crimes. But that's not what you're doing when you're wearing a flag on your arm. You know, you're saying something completely different. My country, right or wrong. You know, you're saying something obnoxious. I don't give a shit if we broke the law. I don't give a shit if we kill people. I don't give a shit if we, you know. Well, fuck you then. Get what you deserve. You know, be a victim next time. You know, the next round, that's going to be your fate. You know, the world you create is the world you're going to live in, whether you like it or not. So whatever world we permit to exist, whatever civilization we permit to exist, the things that are going to be born into it aren't going to be any different than you were when you were born into it. It's the same damn thing. So you're going to be your victim. If you want to play perpetrator, you're going to have to play victim in the next round of the game. So, good luck with that, idiots. This really isn't about, you know, what did I win this round? You know, that's like playing one hand of cards and say, oh, I'm a big winner. Nah, you got to add it up after all the cards have been dealt. And then you'll find out, no, you're a loser. Because there's going to be a lot more losing hands than winning hands. And that's just the house rules. And that's the rules of this stupid fucking life game. Is you're going to be less than you are, more than you're going to be more than you are. A lot less, a lot more often. So you're going to be playing, you're going to be driving a shitty car most of the time. That's the way to put it. It's going to have very few days in your Maserati and an awful lot of days in your whatever pull cart. Ugh. Oh, that was depressing. So anyway, just checking in, see if it worked, and so far it's working. So if we don't have some sort of stupid failure, this might be a nice way to make videos. It might be a nice thing to make better videos. Yeah, instead of this kind, make a better kind of video using the advantages of well, I don't even know how to, yeah, well, time lapse almost. Yeah, all I have to do is hit a button, so yeah, it's kind of nice. So anyway, I'll be back when I have something probably just marginally interesting to say, because there's, you know, what is there to say? It's just there's nothing to say. It just sucks. It sucks living in an imperfect world. It sucks playing a game that's just so dumb. It's just so beneath our dignity. And it's just so sad that so many people think this is all they're entitled to, is torture and death. You earned it. No, I don't sense that at all. I don't sense that I earned this in some way. I just don't recall earning it. But being human, that's where I earned it. My kind has sentenced me to it because they're really stupid. Big brain, but nothing good in it. Just me, me, me. I mean, that's another thing. I was thinking just having a penis tattooed on my face. Just to be annoying. Once you get old, it doesn't matter, right? Yeah, you're not gonna get any chicks or anything's gonna happen. Nothing good's gonna happen. So yeah, you might as well just have a penis tattooed on my face, just to annoy the fuck out of people. I mean, it'd be just kind of fun just to say that, go into court and have them force me to wear a mask, force me to wear a burqa. That would be just so cool. An Elephant Man mask or something, because I'm too offensive. It'd be pretty funny. I mean, it is kind of, tragic that I guess my life has got to that point where that's why I'm starting to imagine, how can I just be annoying now? Because that's all you have left. So how can I annoy as many people as possible? Because they just suck. But I don't want to do it in some sort of wasteful way. I don't want to just spam them or key their car or some kind of bullshit. I want to be annoying in some kind of, just some so subtly perfect way. But anyway, this is personal fantasy. Anyway. Till later, such. I think. Yeah, right button. So I should be back. Let me just make sure it looks like it's working. Alright, I don't know if I have much to advance my conversation. I was just thinking about animals. I just ran across a picture of, let's see, that should work. The cats. So it just got me thinking about animals and how many of them are in a form that I certainly wouldn't want to be in. They eat things I wouldn't want to be eating. They look like something I wouldn't want to look like. But most of the creatures on Earth, it's kind of a miserable existence. They just spend all of their time eating. And you can really see that with the bovine type hoofed animals. Hoof animals. Hoofs? Yeah, hoofs. Tooth. I mean, it's really disgusting when you think of the evolution thing. The whole process of turning your hand into a hoof. Just think of that, millions of years and all the hideous in-between stages, the Frankenstein kind of tortured monsters. That you have to go through these transitions. You could even think about human beings going from even the apes, tails and, the whole reconstruction of our form, standing upright, all the intermediate stages. Not very nice to think about. But yeah, just most animals are not very attractive. They don't have the symmetries and the niceties of certain animals. And yeah, they spend their whole life just hunting and eating. And, whatever, cow-like animals, sheep, all that kind of stuff. I mentioned this maybe 3 or 4 years ago, so I guess I can say it again. That, you sort of can see it in the fact that when they're really young, and they're feeding on their mother's milk, they're alert, they're like, you pet them and they're like, interact, they're so much more conscious, it seems, when they're just a few months old. And it's, as soon as they start getting older is when they just start going into that brain, blankness, where they just become chewers, and feeders, because that's what they have to do to survive. They have to spend 90% of their lives eating to maintain their existence, because they're eating such a crappy food in a sense. Yeah, and I have to put in so much work to get value out of it, and yeah, so it's sort of interesting, and just as a sentence, as a trap, as a penalty for being alive, it sort of seems like a hell of a kind to just live that way. You can think even like butterflies. I mean, they're all pretty and everything, but yeah, their life just seems they're just owned by this constant need to find something to feed on, and it's like they don't even have any time to enjoy being able to fly, because they have to just keep searching and searching and searching, and and then their whole structure is so yuck, long stick mouth thing, and then the constant predation, and they spend their half-life as a caterpillar, kind of disgusting creatures. Mouth, anus, not much else. And that's the living condition. That's what life is. All right, life is the mouth and the anus, and it's only a few organisms, a small percentage of the organisms that get to do anything elaborate as a side activity. And most of life is trapped in just being a feeding machine, for the mere purpose of laying eggs, or fertilizing eggs. All this work for that event, and then the salmon come to mind every time I think about something like that, or I'm probably not going to remember their names now, but there's ocean fish that do this kind of thing too. They live for 3 or 4 years, and then all of them just beach themselves and drill holes in the sand, lay eggs, and die. At a high tide, so their decomposing bodies can feed their babies. There's just nothing nice to say about this. Then you get into all the really insidious stuff. The spiders that lay their eggs on other organisms, and the wasps that lay their eggs on spiders, and just horrible parasitism. And what will the silver lining people will just go with some sort of symbiotic relationship, and like the Hoove, there was no symbioticness getting to this symbiotic relationship. It wasn't symbiotic from the beginning, and 90% of the relationships that exist are still not symbiotic. They're still just parasitic, predator-prey, exploitanist victim. And you can equate that to just our social condition. It seems all we've decided to exist in is a society full of exploitanists and victims. Kill them before they kill you. Ruin them before they ruin you. Just not very nice. Nothing to be optimistic about. Nothing to say, oh yes, I need to throw some new victim into the slop to eke out an existence, feeding, trying to find comfort, a few moments where you get to flap your wings in some sort of way that isn't for the purpose of some stupid purpose. You don't get to just soar and breathe free. You're stuck with psychological agenda, and then if you're unlucky enough to be a bit of a neurotic, And you can spend decades just trying to find some moments of peace of mind, where you're not harassed by paranoia and fear and terror, dismal despondency, just, so, the pain of just imagining your putrid fate. You're the, just in so sloppy. It's just so. I know, coming from me, complaining about sloppy. I know that doesn't sound very realistic. That I don't even know what the word means. I got holes in my sweater, and the house has got holes in it. But the fact that I have habitualized to some amount of it doesn't mean that I'm not perfectly aware of it, that I don't despise imperfection, because I do. I hate it. I hate it in myself. I don't like it in others. I don't like it in anything. I don't like flaws and defects. But and maybe I didn't like it so much that I had to become tolerant of it, just because I would have gone more insane if I hadn't figured out some way to say to live with it. To accommodate some portion of it. I suppose it would also just consume your life, where you could just become one of those people who just spends their life with a, vacuum cleaner and, with cloths and dusting and this and that and cleaning, and how much your productivity or you're squandering in all of this activity to try to control an environment that doesn't allow control to work. And to have it all for what? So you can die and decompose, in your wonderfully furnished and polished, shiny room. So what the hell's that? No, that doesn't work either. So, obviously I don't I don't necessarily have productive thoughts in terms of it's the reality we live in, and as a practical matter you just can't think about it too much. You can know it, but you can't focus on it. Well, maybe somebody else can. I can't. But it's kind of hard not to, I guess. It just keeps catching your eye. The little triggers that just, provoke the thought, and you start seeing the buckets of blood and the waste and my eyes squint when I just imagined how it's just going to keep being imposed. I mean, it's, never learn. Just keep stepping in the trap. Snap, chew your arm off. Grow a new arm, step in the trap, chew your arm off. What? No, don't do that anymore. Stop it. Stop. Stupid. And just, so much, the price for what we are, this thing we call being human and sitting here on this planet contemplating our multiverses and all of our fun kinds of dark and green and purple matter and, all the fun little whatever, entangled little particles. Ooh, they all know what each other's doing. Except none of them are doing anything interesting, so who cares? There's not even boy and girl particles. Yeah, I mean, they're not even spawning or something. So who cares if they know what each other's doing? It's not terribly interesting. But anyway, all that magic, all that, we're in the universe. No, we're conscious. For what? Again, it just comes down to the basics. Everybody is defeated. Okay, I mean, it's every great man is defeated by his penis eventually. Eventually, it ruins him somewhere. Somewhere he will go foul. He will commit some trespass against decency. And, you know, I mean, just squander fortunes, squander all kinds of stuff on chasing tail. I mean, you know, it's hilarious how undignified and whatever that is, that fairy tale story. The fairy tale's a frickin' whorehouse. There's nothing, you know. Greed and avarice and whatever, horny insecurity, you know, control freaky, stupid nonsense. Yeah, I mean, it's just pitiful. And all of this suffering, billion years of it, well, anyway, few 100 million years worth of organisms going, ow, that hurts, stop, that hurts. Billion, you know, few 100 million years of that for this? And we're not going to go anywhere. It doesn't have anywhere to go. Because once you cut off the feeding, the hunger, yeah, you'll be a butterfly and you'll just be sitting around. So it's work flying. You know, screw it. You know, and you'll look around at the flowers, go, oh, the flowers are pretty. But guess what? I've seen them already. You know, I'm kind of done with that. So now what? I mean, you know, without the passion and the competitiveness and the fighting for this emotional internal peace, without this internal peace battle, there's nothing to do here except run away from your own demons. That's all the game is made out of. Run from your demons. Your dissatisfaction, your unrequited self-obsession. You know, you love yourself, but yourself hates you. Some kind of bullshit like that. So, yeah, it's probably enough. So, yeah, it's just where the thoughts go. There's nowhere else for them to go, right? There's just nothing. Nothing. There's just nothing about this whole stupid thing. Like I said, you could take the most expensive paintings in the Louvre and the most fanciest cars and the biggest mansions and all that crap, and it really doesn't mean anything once you've looked in all the rooms. You know, once the surprise is over. Oh, this is all kind of samey, right? I mean, you can only sit in one room at a time, and there really isn't that big a difference between the chairs in this room and the chairs in your 458 other rooms. Not enough of a difference to matter. You're still going to be sitting there saying, what do I do with this stuff? What does it mean? Can I eat it? Can I fuck it? Can I eat it? Can I fuck it? Can I eat it and fuck it? Anyway. Not saying all that crap isn't powerful. Passion is really cool. But it's such a stupid trap. And it's so expensive. I mean, it's insanely expensive. Alright, anyway. Till later-ish. What do I hit again? I already forgot. Alright, should be the last segment of this video. Computer's being a bit buggy, so better not to push my luck. Anyway, not that I, again, don't have much to contribute besides talking about how this psychology thing owns people and their, you know, all the magical thinking that is part of our lives, even when we use phrases like magical thinking. You're still a magical thinker. You're still susceptible to the fantasies about your future great successes, and even just the vicarious living through stories, movies. You know, they can sit with you. You know, even bad movies can have moments that trigger. So we're all just waiting to be triggered. Some kind of response out of you that is fond and pleasant. Even just phrases, you know, splendor in the grass. I remember when I heard that title to the movie. I don't think I ever read, if there was a book, I don't think I read it. But anyway, and you know, the movie is really just, you know, horribly not happy. In any way, I mean, it's just a horrible kind of sad story about going crazy and life lost and squandered, and you know, and you really didn't get anything, you know, out of it except a few moments of maybe a little bit of this splendor in the grass. And I have to admit that I actually sort of literally, you know, took that a bit literally. I was always kind of happy in natural environments, much more than human ones, and you know, the idea of a nice field of daisies or something, and you know, the right company, just seemed a very nice ideal. And so I actually had ambitions for such moments, that I might fall into them, you know, with good fortune. Fantasies. And close a couple of times. I mean, actually, there was a couple of circumstances that were almost, yeah, almost splendorish. But I never quite got there. Well, I can't say that entirely. I guess, you know, there was a period where I had very good fortune. So I guess I shouldn't. It's just, it's, you know, 6 months, you know, and then you're back to, so you kind of, it's not that you ever forget, but it's just that there's so many months of wanting, and, you know, so few months of having. And I guess that is sort of a Freudian, you know, thing that I actually for a moment forgot that, you know, I did have the splendor in the grass. I did win for a period of time, and in a sense it had to be for a period of time, because you know that if it would have continued, the grass would have died, and you know, the petals would have fallen off, and the seasons would have changed, and the snow would fall, and the ice, and you know, it wasn't going to, you can't hold on to it. You can't, the tighter you squeeze, the more it suffocates, kind of thing, however you want to cliche metaphor it. So you know, these are just such basic parts of the learning process of being alive, and just realizing how much of your time is spent, especially in youth, fixated on that hope, you know, that you're going to achieve this, you know, idyllic Garden of Eden life. And when you think about it, it's just so impractical. because you can't live in a fantasy gingerbread Willy Wonka world, you know, where it's all just, you know, the little funny green people do all the work, and you know, you just have fun sailing your, you know, boat in your chocolate river or something. I mean, it's just not going to turn out that way. Life is much more difficult in terms of the crap you have to endure and put up with, the grind of working. You know, how much that can just consume your life. I mean, I had periods in my life where, yeah, that's all I did was go to work and sleep, and there wasn't anything. I was either at work or asleep. I wasn't, you know, driving to work. But yeah, there was nothing else. That was my life. And you manage it, you do it, and somehow you think you're accomplishing. So again, it's this working towards it. Somehow you think it's working towards your dream. Somehow you're building your Wonka village, you know, and then you have the realization that, well, no, I'm, you know, maybe if I live to be a 970, I'll save enough money to have a Wonka village, but it's not going to happen at this rate. You realize that your life is going nowhere, and you're not going to win the lottery. You're not, you know, you're not slated to be incredibly lucky, and in a sense you've already been lucky that you're even can even function. Oh, I wish it didn't do that. DVD player, it's gonna foul everything up. Stay, do not load a DVD, please. It'll only crash the computer and then I'll be disappointed. See, I see the mouse is working kind of funny. Anyway, like I said, probably pushing my luck a little. But I do like to be able to break a video into pieces like this, so and this is pretty reliable, so I should be able to get away with this as long as I'm not too stupid. And the power doesn't go out or some other kind of crap. Yeah, I haven't gotten away with this video yet. But anyway, so sort of the fun, right? Sort of the more of an example that you really can't control very much. You know, you can do what you can try to cut the edges off of the traps. You can find some of them. You can be cautious and walk carefully and poke sticks and do a lot of work to figure out how not to get trapped as much. But there's just so many of them, you know, and they're coming from all kinds of places, and you know, and it's just not a way for sophisticated feeling organisms to have to live. We shouldn't have to live under these really rotten rules. And I don't know why people are so confident. Well, we're talking about young people, and that's a problem. But there's plenty of these biological clock women out there who are well into their maturity and pretending that they're going to go on some, you know, pleasure cruise by having children. And somebody gave me a link to a video. Some asshole starts us off his video that, you know, he's bald, he's, you know, doesn't look like a perfect hunk of genetic code. I mean, that's another thing. I just don't understand people who are overtly unendowed saying, yes, I'd like to give my son an inverted penis and a bald head and you know, a fat ass. He'll like it. You know, I'm just saying. You know, I'm not a eugenicist, but I just mean it should occur to some people. It's like the Christina Applegate thing, right? I mean, I found her quite charming, but you know, when she had a kid after she just had her breast cut off because she has toxic DNA, and you're just like, and she's had a daughter. I mean, you're just, what are you thinking? You know, that's, like, I would argue that, yeah, she's, on the surface, she's the kind of person who should be reproducing, very pretty, all that kind of stuff, healthy in most respects. But yeah, I mean, you got toxic code. You should at least try to have a son, and then he can decide not to have kids, and you don't have to worry about it. But I mean, why perpetuate a time bomb? Right? Relight the fuse again. I don't know. It doesn't make much sense to me. And you're just saying, how can people be that crass? I mean, that's just, I mean, she's like, she had a turtle as a pet and cats, and lots of things about her were just nice and charming. But I mean, that seemed just so goddamn stupid. And people do that. I mean, my own sister did it. She's cancer and she decides to have a kid. What? No, not a good idea. So I'm, hard to figure what people think, and I guess that's the thing. I mean, you hate to say it. Oh, everybody's just too stupid. I guess I'm so much smarter than them because I could figure out these little obvious things. It's just hard to feel. This is like, I mean, winning the whatever best dressed award on the little yellow bus or something. I mean, it just doesn't feel very accomplished. Wow, I'm on a planet of people so fucking stupid, and but that's all you can draw the conclusion, right? There's nothing else you can. There's no other conclusion to draw. They can't add up these 2 + 2s, But anyway, so back to this asshole who's going to sit there and tell me how his life, it changes your life. Well, of course it changes your life. You're a servant to, if you're rational, to fear. Insane fear. I mean, having a kid, being responsible, just thinking about all the ways that little fucker can screw its life up. Running down the sidewalk and it trips on a crack and breaks its fucking face. I mean, so many horrible things can happen so fast. You have so little ability to control any of it without putting the thing in a cage all day. Just horrible stuff waiting to happen. And they call it fun? Oh, it changes your life. You're just totally full of all this fun of what? Of being glib? Of not recognizing the bloody sword damage that you see all around you in the world? All the harm that comes with being alive? All the ruined people? All the ruined lives? The psychiatric issues, just tons of divorces, alcoholism, drug addictions, all this stuff is waiting for you to watch your kid go through. And you're sitting there just, oh yeah, I'm having a great time. I love watching things be subjected to danger and the risk of torture. Oh yeah, that's fun. So it really is, you really are back in Rome at the Colosseum, and you're saying, do you people really realize that these are feeling organisms you're watching rip each other to pieces? I mean, you do realize there's all kinds of horror and torture and pain and suffering going on here, right? When the guts are being pulled out and the thing is still moving, that, that's not a good time. You do realize that, right? So again, what do you say? Well, obviously they don't realize. They're just dumb as bricks. I mean, I don't know how a brick, if I give a brick a tiny enough intelligence to say, hey Gary, I'm a brick, I think the brick could figure out that, well, suffering, no, let's not do any of that. If we can, no. Let's watch something else, okay, happen. Let's drop rocks on rocks. That's fun. Let's have a rock run around the track competition. How fast can the rock roll around the track? Or something. Let's watch something else. Let's not watch feeling things harm each other for fun. I think a brick could figure it out. But not these human beings. These loving human... Oh, I love my children so much. Bullshit. You don't even know what they are. You don't even know what species they are. You don't even know anything about them. If you could possibly think you're going to have a good time being responsible for one. It's just too fucktarded. Yeah, sorry. I just, it's such, when you start thinking about it, you're saying this, it really is, it's just people are freaking lizards. They're freaking lizards. Lizards have more, I'm just going to mind my own business. I'm not gonna try to get in any trouble. If they were smart enough to know, they'd probably say, no, I ain't laying no eggs. Oh, screw that. They'd have oral sex or something. They'd just say, no, I'm not fertilizing nothing. Fuck that. I'll hump her leg. So, I'm just saying, it's just, I figured it out when I was 7. These people can't figure it out when they're 70. Torture bad. Okay? No, it's perfectly justifiable. We're doing such magnificent great things. You could torture lots and lots of stuff and it'd still be worth it. Pure imitation. Just dismal. So, yeah. So anyway, I thought of movie titles the other day, but I can't remember any of them now. I was just thinking of the lizard analogy. I just forgot what I thought of as a title. Yeah, just Life is Crap is coming to mind, and that's not... I know I had a better title than that. So anyway, something. Yeah, no, nothing's coming to me. I should write stuff down, because if I'm going to write a book, I should have to title for it and all that kind of crap, and, all that kind of crap. There's a title. Yeah, I'm sorry. Yeah, it's just funny that I can't remember I had a good title. Can't remember it. I know it had crap in it. So, yeah, good title with crap in it. Anyway. So yeah, that's probably enough. We don't need to prolong the pain. So, yeah, so that's enough. What else? Anything? Nothing else. Yeah, nothing. Yeah. So I probably I do intend to maybe make some videos that I'll actually have on the website. And, because I can do things, where I don't have to worry about copyright and offending people and all that crap. So I might do some things that are, challenge the law that seems to be bullshit, especially as imposed by the YouTubes. And what else? Yeah, so that's probably, but whatever. See how things go. That's my plan, but I don't seem to, my plans are always kind of vague, and it always ends up being just something like this. It doesn't do what it needs to do, which is rise to some new level. So okay, call it a video. So, thanks for watching. Appreciate your attention. Sorry. I feel your pain. Yeah. Yeah. So, till the next time and such. Yeah. Remember.